Hello everyone, welcome back to this lovely day it has been of boning. This is the Two-Tally Community Championship 2025 and we are nearing the end of the first week's matches. It's gonna be IlluminatiSalad versus LunaTheCutest now, followed by Albertson and Morningstar, crossing our fingers. Albert's PC holds up. Should be working, so by all means. We should be getting two matches back to back here, but first off we got Illu versus Luna. Hoping for a great matchup here. And later, with an hour between Albert, we also have Professor Hume versus Random Noise. So yeah, Illu, rank 4 on the leaderboards, turning seed number 3 from the country of Antarctica versus Luna with a lower Two-Tally rank of 62, but a respectable 14th tourney seed, so I think that's probably the most important part. For the quotes we have Colin 3 and wait, the trombones are real? Question mark. I'm just reading these aloud just so people realize they're there, you know? Anyways, we seem to have since someone has already played some of the matches, it seems obviously the graphics for the picks and wins is not accurate. Don't worry about that. We can see in the bottom left there, yeah, the first pick is indeed Dark Farm. So just don't worry about the graphics for now. It's gonna be the Dark Farm for the first match. Illu did win the coin toss. Match is over, yeah. Now we're gonna go right to tie breaks. They only had time for one chart. Yeah, heading into Dark Farm. I am curious to see how this goes. Illu, I think, is a very interesting player in terms of the skill set. I know Illu as a strong NM player. One of the few easy abstainers in the community. I think most people jumped on the easy bandwagon, especially for the, as far as the top players are considered. Illu very much held off on playing easy until, I think, recently. And then we have Luna, who I don't know that much about in terms of their actual skill set, so it's gonna be interesting to see here. It is also interesting that Illu is one of the few players who are a bit in between on the HD specifically, so I'm hoping to see some good performances on the HD as well. In between, by that I mean you have Albert and Salad, right, who are very good at it, and then most other people aren't that good at it if they're not like very into HD. You usually don't do that well on it. It is good, despite not really being a main HD player. Anyways, this is the Dark Farm. It's a no mod chart, so not going to be relevant here. As we wait for these players to sync. This is gonna probably show us any nerves of today, or anything to look out for in specific for these players in terms of weaknesses or strengths. We do see an early combo break from Luna. Not necessarily the biggest deal, but then of course it depends on the IlluminatiSalad. This is a chart we have almost seen FC. No, actually I think Salad did FC earlier. No, that was also one miss. So I believe we have not seen this map be FC yet, if I remember correctly. We had several one misses, but no FC. Illu doing well so far in terms of the FC department. Luna trailing a bit behind. Not breaking champ, but losing combo here and there, which is bleeding her points right now. Getting a bit further behind now, Luna. Quite stabilizing. But of course, as I did mention, it doesn't really matter if she FCs the rest of the song, given, or assuming Illu keeps this pace up, because Illu has not missed a single note yet, holding a really good arc of 97.5. We'll take it, actually, just holds it out. I think that was definitely an FC, given the ag. Has to be, right? And means we do see the Dark Farm getting FC'd in week 1. That's nice. Yeah, unfortunate start there for Luna, of course, but you can kind of have the solace in the fact that, like, no matter what you've done there, like, that's gonna be an uphill battle from the get-go, right? It didn't come down to the nerves necessarily. So all you have to do is reset. Now it's Luna's pick. They get to pick comfort. I'm a bit curious to see if Luna has some FL stuff prepared. The thing about IlluminatiSalad as a player is, like, I don't really think there's, like, any specific things they're that bad at. So in the text chat, Luna, TTCC text chat, there's, like, I can ping. Hold on, I've sent you a ping. It is supposed to be Castle in the Sky, Mari, but I think Illu also probably needs a second to realize that if they're not reading chat. Yeah, there we go, he's also in the chat, so Lovely. Castle in the Sky, similar to the Dark Farm for sure. A bit harder, of course, like just in terms of the jumps and stuff. Less taps, so it's not as heavy on like the rhythm changes up, but it has way more aim in return, so which is also reflected in the star rating. That's a very soft start, though. It's usually something you see most players FC, which helps get you into the song a bit. Maybe get rid of some initial nerves. So you see the scores updating. Luna struggling a bit, and Lu holding quite the act. Lu closing up on 98% there for a second. Not expecting that to necessarily hold, considering the amount of jumps later in the chart, even with an FC, but that is very good act from Illu. Again, just making this a huge mountain to scale for Luna in terms of the point difference. But Luna has shored up play considerably from the intro, holding champ and combo pretty consistently. As the sections here are getting harder, the jumps here are getting trickier for sure. We do see a champ break there from Illu, and I think that was another combo break on top. I'm not entirely sure. The timing of the champ breaks are sometimes a bit unclear. There was definitely another combo break from Illu after that. Despite that, he is firmly in the lead. At 15% lead right now. Heading into the end of the song here. We'll take the second chart as well. Those taps are definitely slightly evil, yes. Joy. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing in the world, like... They're very durable if you know they're coming, but if you are very in the groove, they can catch you off guard for sure. Alright. We got one more pick now from Luna, given that Illu did pick the first chart. And it's saying Luna should pick one of the FL maps. That probably depends on them having practiced it. I've been saying it doesn't matter, because Illu can't either. You're shaking so much with that hack, Illu. The 98% would say otherwise. I mean, I suppose Illu did not FC Castle in the Sky, but they didn't exactly do bad. I would say either, ending up at I think a 94%. That was. We will have the calling here, though. That's of course one of the FL maps for this week. I think the calling is definitely one of those charts that rewards you a lot from the time you put into it. But that being said, it doesn't matter that much how much you've practiced one of these maps. If you are very nervous, you definitely do need to focus up for these. It goes for all the flashlight charts, really, but especially the cooling, because one of the things you can do in this chart is line up the notes to what's coming ahead. You can kind of like toot, get the pitch, if you remember it. But if you lose focus, that suddenly becomes much harder. If you're just thinking about your misses, you don't think about the upcoming notes, right? Lovely duet. Both players losing combo at the same point there. But Illy with one less afterwards, and we'll have the lead going into the rest of the chart here. First to get champ here, but of course holding champ in FL is not a guarantee. Yeah, as you say, Joy, you can, if you're looking at this for the first time, or maybe just haven't noticed it yet, like a lot of these notes, they pick up from where the last one ended as well. And knowing that is, of course, a huge help. Like, if you don't have to move your mouse, you shouldn't, obviously, right? Killer losing champ. It's gonna bleed them quite a bit of points. But Luna is not quite consistent enough to really eat into the points difference as of yet. We'll see here. Will that change? Both players kind of doing the same unnecessary note at the end of that slide. With that combo rate, it's starting to get really rough for Luna. Now a 25% difference. It seems to have kind of shored up the initial unsureness of the chart. It has been holding this combo for a while, I think. Well, as I say that, it seems to have disappeared, but still has the champ meter. So does Luna. Never mind. Nice from both players here. Can't quite tell from the gameplay, but Luna seems to be either just slightly mistiming these notes or slightly misaiming them, because she's just really close on these, from all I can tell. And is still losing combo on a few of them. That's quite unfortunate. Heading to the last few notes here. Really getting caught off guard, but does have a extremely comfortable 35% lead. That's not math. 25 times, so sorry. Just getting the frustration out at the end there. Being forced to play FL. That is gonna put Illu in the 3-0 lead. Now, trailing match point. Luna will want to get the map now, lest it's gonna have to be a reverse sweep. But it is Illuminati's pick, as the last two has been picked by Luna, and Illy will pick Clumsy Communication. This is quite a tricky map. I think we talked about this before. It's probably the hardest no-mod map out of the non-tiebreaker maps we have here. Everyone agrees that You'll Be Gone is probably the hardest no-mod chart overall, but out of the ones that aren't tiebreaks, Clumsy Communication has a lot of really rough specific parts, and just a general swing rhythm is pretty tricky. Luna thinks Pixel Princess is harder. That's of course very fair. It does depend on your specific skill sets, for sure. As it seems we have correct chronological order of these charts. ID 307, 703, 704, 705, and 706 being played in order. Me personally, I do not remember exactly which chart I do better on the no-mod charts, but I do remember this one, especially the jumps in the, what do you call it, the piano section? Whatever the section is, you know which jumps I'm talking about. Those are especially tricky. Yeah, good start for both players. Blue not having a problem with these rhythms at all. Just cruising through it. Did have a lightly rougher start here. It's lacking, or was lacking champ meter. But the chart does get a bit simpler for a while here. Heading into a long note section. Artist triplet right here. Does trip up Luna. It is a pretty chill section. Followed by a not chill section. Ooh, there goes the loose FC. Holds on to the champ meter for a very strong 90, almost 96% hack here from Miller. Not happy with that miss, basically. Lead is still very comfortable. Luna in position to look for the 69% gambit, of course. It's of course well known that if you get exactly 69%, you do just automatically win the whole tournament. And it does nail that triplet this time around. Will not catch her off guard twice. Beautiful. Illu with their third combo break of the shark so far. Make that 5. Loses champ at the very end. Illu. Almost a full champ keep. But a very good 94%, of course, still from Illu. Will take them to 4 points. And match point. The reverse sweep has to come through now from Luna. Will we see some HD or easy, perhaps? That's my question. Or will it be the last no mod? This is like the one no mod chart left between a sea of modifiers. As I talked about before, also, Illu very versatile when it comes to these modifiers, I think. Bar FL maybe, but like, who plays FL? Let's be real. It is gonna go Ave Maria. I believe Whispers was always easy. Maybe perhaps too easy. Who knows? Well, now she gotta. If that isn't a motivation, I don't know what is. Also, I will mention that if Illu doesn't throw this, they will be standing in the way of true love. Which would be a great crime indeed. If I do not believe Illu is even listening, so probably quite unaware of what the consequences of winning here might be. Speaking of consequences of winning here, Illu would also be the first one to do a full sweep. There's not been a full 5-0 yet in the matches so far. Even Electrostat's showing some blood in the match versus the God Chicken. Luna with the lead. Seems to have a good strategy, Luna, here, of being quick to release the note. Well, I say that, but it doesn't seem to be quite working the way I thought it would. Because you see a lot of these zeros popping up are definitely gap misses, or like the OKs. Because the aim is spot on, so it has to be gap misses. Illu is slipping a lot too, though. This is still very much a close match. But with Illu having Champ and 10x right now, that's gonna allow them to build a lead here. Losing it there gives the opportunity for a comeback. Happy birthday, Electra. If only Illuminati would play the birthday song right now. Going into these last notes. It does seem sealed. Illuminati will be taking the match with a clean 5-0. Very, very good showing here from Illuminati. An unfortunate start to the tournament for Luna, but of course, like everyone else who has taken the worst end of these first matchups, which of course are probably the most uneven matchups we will see for most of the tournament. They are, of course, the highest versus the lowest seeds, right? So the cards are stacked against a lot of our competitors this week. But like everyone else who has come out on the losing side, they still have a shot in the losers bracket, of course, next week. So we're not saying goodbye to anyone yet. Illuminati will be going ahead to the winners bracket, facing off against question mark. I never think to have the challenge open. Someone. What was that? Oh. We are gonna get it visually, I think. Thank you, Joy. Yeah, I really sharded that one. Yeah, that's the nature of seeding, of course. That is kind of the only way to do it, unless you want it to be random, of course. You could have it be random, or somehow you only try and match even the first week. Obviously, the issue with that, though, is that if the first week is very even, suddenly the semifinals is the one that is super unfair, which obviously doesn't feel like it either. John Tutali is, of course, the founder of Tutali. I feel myself slipping a bit listening to this. It's just so beautiful. Shoutouts to Gloommonk, by the way. I don't know if you know, but this is audio, I think, entirely made by Gloommonk. Even the lovely trombone. I might be putting words into Gloom's mouth here, but I'm fairly sure. All right. With that match being 5-0, we do have some time left until the next one, which will start in half an hour. I'm not gonna even bother with the time zones. It's 10 p.m. UTC, whatever that is for you. It is not 10 p.m. for me. It's in half an hour either way. And here we do have the brackets, yeah. So, the winner of Random Noise versus Professor Whom will be facing up against IlluminatiSalad, and the loser of Random Noise versus Professor Whom will be facing against Luna. So, definitely going to be interesting to see who takes this one. This is probably one of those matchups I'm expecting to be really close. Not entirely sure where either of Random Noise and Professor Whom stand in terms of like the current form, but I've seen them both play very well before. It's just been a while since I personally saw them compete in the tournament, so I'm not quite sure where they're at. But I know they're both very capable players. But of course, before that, we will have Albert versus Morningstar. Albert getting his first showing in this tournament, of course, a favorite to take it all home. Him and Electrostats went head-to-head last year in both the finals and the grand finals, both going to the full amount of games, so definitely a contender this year as well. Versus Morningstar, who I don't believe I've ever seen play, so that's going to be very interesting. Maybe a hidden gem. We do have a lot of players actually very recently joining in and setting some amazing scores, so it's never too late to have new players come in and dethrone the current legends. So, looking forward to that match. We will be seeing you then I believe, taking a break until Albert and Morningstar's match in 30 minutes, when we will be back with our coverage.
Someone, everyone, a rumor just for fun. Then wait a week and I'm sure you'll be gone.